Back to the breaking news of the hour, the release by the FBI of documents in the Hillary Clinton email investigation. As I said before the last break, we are still digging through that to see what is in the actual release. But the fact that there is a release is somewhat interesting. So we welcome in now the Republican Congressman Tom Marino, who has been pushing for a probe here, and that does kind of make it interesting, Congressman, because the idea that we're getting information, right, on a Friday, as I pointed out there a few minutes ago, before Labor Day, it's tough for us to have a factual conversation about it now because we quite frankly do not know what is in this. But the idea that more information is coming out, especially from this interview that Hillary Clinton did with the FBI, what do you make of it?
Well, again, it's a Friday dump. They want the minimal amount of news reported on it. We have nothing to read at this point. As far as I'm concerned, I know it's going to be heavily redacted. Sometimes when that's sent over to Congress and it's confidential, and it usually is, it may not be as redacted, but it is redacted. So anything that's redacted, as far as I'm concerned, as my experience as a prosecutor, it doesn't go very far.
Fair enough. Let me interrupt our own conversation, Congressman, for one moment and go to our Washington, D.C. newsroom and bring Blake Burman into this. He's kind of our digger-in-chief when these matters come up, and I know this is putting you on the spot, Blake, but have you been able to dig through any of this yet? And then we can check back with you. What do we know?
So I've been reading through the first couple pages. Keep in mind this was released at 1:10, so exactly 10 minutes ago. And the first few pages just kind of outline the very basic steps of their investigation, and presumably they go from there on out. But what I can point to is the redactions, and I kind of want to just walk you through a few different levels here. For example, this, let me show it up. This is the very first page. I don't know if you can see it, but you can notice heavily redacted, heavily redacted. This is page 1.
Right.
Page 2. No redactions whatsoever, a full report, and it keeps on going on down the line. Now, when you dig into it, and there are, I believe, 58 pages of this, 2 different files, let me show you here page 36. I think you can see here, completely redacted. Not a single word on it that you can read. That's 36, and it goes from 36 all the way to 47, entirely redacted. So some of this we presumably might learn from. And a lot of this, or at least a good portion of it, we won't learn much of anything from the FBI.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to read through the redactions. Okay, Blake, we'll come back to you in a few minutes, possibly. Right. Congressman Marino, that's basically what you were saying. I mean, in your experience, I guess you were saying as a prosecutor, right? Is that where you come into these situations and you expect to learn a lot, and boy, but that's because these issues are either secret or classified. They have to be classified, I guess, to be redacted?
Yes, that's certainly. We needed to have information classified that could cause us problems. But the bottom line is, what is there to read? Actually, a good prosecutor could draw a conclusion from at least the questions asked or what was said right before the redaction. Right. But by and large, there's not going to be any smoking gun because of it's so heavily redacted. And again, you know, this is just another pie-in-the-sky attempt to try to minimize what has truly been a disaster for this country.
It does keep the email story in the news. The Clinton Foundation story has been in the news all week long, and maybe even a little bit longer than that. I think it's had an effect. I mean, it's had an effect on the presidential race in terms of the horse race quality of it, with the polls tightening up. Hillary Clinton is still, according to the data that we have, the favorite. It would be more likely, in other words, that she'd be president than Donald Trump. But the odds of that have gone down this week. There's a lot of that's because of this, don't you think?
Well, it sure is, and the closer we get to the election, the more it's going to be a problem for her. I'm not one that really pays attention to the polls. You know, my attention paying is the day after the election. But look, so much that whenever she opens her mouth, Hillary Clinton opens her mouth, it's a lie. Even the director of the FBI said she wasn't telling the truth, and she perjured herself in front of Congress. So the American people are sick of this.
Right.
I go across Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania is a swing state. I have now Union Democrats saying to me that they're voting for Trump because they just cannot trust Hillary Clinton. That's probably out in western
Pennsylvania, right? We got to run here for time, Congressman Marino. Last time I saw you, I think it was out at the Trump rally in Harrisburg. But he still is struggling, according to the polls. Again, I know you're saying you're not paying attention, in the Philadelphia area, the suburbs. Can he win it? Is he going to win Pennsylvania?
Well, he can win it if the fraud is kept at a minimum in Philadelphia, and that's why we have lawyers going to be at these polling places. But mark my word, he's going to win this. He's going to win Pennsylvania because even the Democrats, the hardworking taxpaying Democrats, are tired of the Obama administration, and Hillary Clinton is just another 4 years of that.
Congressman Marino out in Pennsylvania, a Trump supporter, and joining us also on the breaking news, which we'll continue to cover. There's more Cavuto Coast to Coast straight ahead. We'll be right back.